We all have stories to tell in life, and as we grow, we always have a lot that is in our past. And sometimes we live lives based on our past. We feel like we cannot do it, we cannot do anything because our past has been horrible. And that just makes a mark onto our lives. And finally, it changes the whole life, and it also affects our destiny. Most of us find difficulty because they feel like it is finished. But then guys, today is such an amazing day. It is very amazing because I have an important guest that I have been able to meet at the Power Conference still today that has taken place in Barara. And she had to do me well. And by the end of the conference, I was so blessed and I felt like I cannot let her go without having her on the show. Mrs Sarah Mirembe, you are welcome on the show.
Thank you, Bridget.
And I'm humbled to have you here.
Humbled to be hosted by you.
Okay, how are you?
I'm great, a bit tired because it's been almost a full day program, but I'm excited.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll be just saying hello to our viewers, to the fans of Bridget.
Hello. Hello, Bridget's fans. I'm very happy to be on her show today. An amazing young woman. You can tell her tomorrow is better than her today. Yeah.
Okay, to the people that are watching us out there, the lady that I have hosted today is a very important lady. She's very amazing. I know that everyone out there is just curious, just saying that she's amazing. You are curious to know how amazing she is. And we are here to hear from her and get the courageous words. Yeah, it is living with a purpose. And here we are talking about, does your background determine your destiny? Does it have anything to do with your destiny? We shall get to know all that. Even we shall get to know part of her story and whether it has determined her destiny. To you, Madam Sarah Mirembe. And by the way, before I forget, she is the director.
Dean of Students.
Sorry.
At Ikire in Mengo Hospital.
Oh, thank you so much for the correction.
It's okay.
And a very great counselor.
I'm humbled.
I think I should also, I'm going to do some study in counseling.
Please, you're welcome. Welcome to the noble profession.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going back to the topic, does one's background determine their destiny?
Does my background or one's background affect their destiny? If it was true that our backgrounds affect our destiny, Bridget, I would be a single mother. I would be a miserable woman. I wouldn't have gotten married. I wouldn't have gotten the education I got. I wouldn't have met the friends I have met. I wouldn't have traveled the places I've traveled. However, our backgrounds, especially here in Africa, like you know, Bridget, many of us have not been privileged. We come from very humble backgrounds, there is no money at home, sometimes our parents are not together, they're somewhere else, mom is somewhere else. So that environment presents a lot of challenges, but guess what? It also presents a lot of opportunities. If you get an opportunity to go to primary school, let's just think about only primary school, P1 to P7, that's an opportunity. Whether you have break or you don't have break, many ministers and MPs keep giving their testimonies that they went to school barefooted. They're sitting in parliament, they are managing ministries. So if our background was to determine our destination, we would be nowhere. However, while you're at that primary school and you're walking to school barefooted, when you reach the classroom, what you do is what matters. When the teacher is teaching, it will not stop me from understanding mathematics, it will not stop me from understanding English because I'm barefooted. My duty in class is to take the opportunity, utilize it. I can imagine the best student in a local primary school in the village. Now, everybody who excels, the world opens for them. So you move from your primary and go to your secondary. Still in secondary, you might be the one who has the smallest mattress. You may never have break. I was never visited all my 6 years in secondary school. It didn't stop me from topping my school in senior 4. It didn't stop me from doing A-level sciences. And it didn't stop me from going to Makerere University on government sponsorship. Did everybody go? No. Did everybody make it? No. Some people, because of their miserable situation, did not pay attention in class, did not work hard, they made the wrong choices, they were attracted by material things. Many of them are not even alive. So my background may be any color. What's my duty? Put my life together, make the most of every opportunity. Students come to university. Do they compete with the same degrees? No. Is it the richest who compete with the highest degrees? No. Sometimes when they are reading the highest, grade students, usually if you hear the stories of those young people, you're like, even the unprivileged children were able to make it with very good degrees. And some rich people's children go to these universities and never complete. So the background does not have to affect you. It is what you do with the small opportunities God brings your way. Pick them up, use them, pick them up, use them, connect, network, be humble, be well-behaved, work on your sexuality. Sexuality issues must be worked on. If you're careless with your sexuality, most probably that brings in a lot of problems. For girls, we're even more disadvantaged. If you don't put your life together, the world will use you and dump you. But once you get any slight opening, I'm talking about slight openings, utilize it. Even some rich people's children waste their opportunities. Why? They don't take care of the small opportunities. So Bridget, you can be different from your background. I have no similarity with the life I grew up in. I'm married to a biomedical engineering consultant. I have 4 amazing children, 1 father. Remember, I'm a girl who is born by a mother who had 4 children from 4 different men. When I was growing up, that was one of my Bibles. I told myself, this will not happen to me. So everybody who presented themselves to me, I knew that men were a liability. And I told myself, until the one who marries me. Was it easy? No! It was so difficult. Saying no to this one, saying no to the other one. Sometimes you're abused, you're reminded you're very ugly. When I remember it even now, you really think I'm so ugly. And somebody later thinks, I'm the one he wants to marry. He goes ahead and marries you, has children with only you, and we've done 18 years. The jobs I do, all the jobs I do, I am literally called by a phone. Applications are my biggest challenge because I took a 9 years career break to take care of my children. All the jobs that came after, I am just called. How do you call that? I look like my background? No. Our backgrounds do not have to determine our destiny.
As you say that you do not look your background.
Not
and
at all.
Indeed, as I told you, you are a mother. Today at lunchtime, I gave you a hug.
I can give you another one.
This is so beautiful. So I just felt that mother's heart, and I felt like, wow, I wish I would listen to her now and again.
We are friends now.
Yeah.
We will talk. Yeah.
Because we still need this advice as the youth out there.
It's available.
The life, the advice, and all that. You say that you do not look your history, and now this creates a question whereby the viewer really wants to know which kind of life is she talking about. If I told you I've heard it, maybe we could just try to
my background a bit.
Of your background.
My mom conceived when my dad had just returned from the US. He had gone to study. He met somebody at University of Massachusetts, engaged her. They planned their wedding. It was going to be in Mirembe. Their honeymoon was going to be in where they put their money together. They bought a car, brand new Datsun. So he came in the country, he came back to the country already with plans. But 2 months to his wedding, he met my mother. They had a fling, and my mom conceived. Who was the loser? My mom. My father's wedding proceeded 2 months later. And he came back with his bride to the same environment, the same staff. Actually, they were teaching in the same school. So my mom is left with a baby in her womb. By the way, when you look at me, I want you to know that I am that baby who should have been aborted. So when I'm talking to young people and I'm telling them, I don't want you to take the abortion, bear the shame, raise that child. It's because my mother could have dealt away with me. I was an inconvenience. She was already a single mother of 2. Why was she having another third child to be left out in the cold? So we lived in that community for 2 years, and then my mother got a transfer. We went and started living the life of a pure single mother. You want me to tell you the life of a single mother? Cut off from the resources of the fathers of the children, deprived. I grew up, my kids have access to everything they want. They will have bread, they will have butter, they will have jam. We take them to school in a car. We've always lived in beautiful homes, courtesy of my husband. The current home we own, my husband's money. The car I drive, my husband's money. When I don't have fuel, I just say I don't have fuel, and he fuels my car. But I know that life. When my mother's salary came as a teacher, you would only take sugar, have bread, and a bit of meat and chicken the first 3 days, and the money would disappear. My mother didn't have school fees, but I'm glad she didn't go back to affect the other family. She stayed. She remained a teacher. Yes, she went and she was already a trained teacher, so she went and was a teacher. The salary was less. The finances of a single mother are different. You will tell me some single mothers have very good jobs, but their emotions are not easy. Let me tell you, every woman would like to raise her children with the father of their children. So we were deprived, we were poor. Let me say it in black and white. We were so poor that when I did P7,
the other lifestyle of America.
The other family was better off because I later joined them and their life was different from the life I had lived. So I did P7, had an 8 at P7. My mother looked at me with so much misery. She said, Sarah, I can't afford a good boarding school for you. I'm sending you to your father painfully. And she sent me to my dad. So you arrive a family when you're 13 years, senior 1, nobody knows you. Where is this person coming from? Settling in was difficult. And you're now no longer your mother's biscuit. You're a second-class citizen. And I went through that normal life. She was a stepmom. What did I want her to do for me? But then she did her best. She allowed me to go to boarding school, all the way in Poto. She never ever stopped my father from paying school fees, but I didn't have the luxuries at school. If I was to get lost because of being deprived, I was going to get lost. But I gave it my best. So that's how bad the background was. Going to school, you run out of pocket money in less than a month, and you're at school in Kau for another 2 months. It takes stamina. I see my kids, Mommy, I don't have money. You have to send money to them in school. I didn't have those privileges. My mother remained poor. And my stepmom, it's good enough that she has given you school fees. Hello? I even went to campus without a suitcase. You can't believe it. And I had to live among all those rich girls at campus. I had a traveling bag. A traveling bag. I didn't have a suitcase.
And the rest of us too. The rest of us, they had suitcases.
Because I'm the second born, I went to university earlier than the rest. The rest would get a little better shopping than me. But which is normal. I'm a mother now. Please, don't expect too much. If they give you food, if they allow you to go to school, it's good enough. The other lady, the other ones are her children. And I don't blame her, by the way. When my stepmom died, we had become very good friends. So she had nothing against me, but she also had to manage her little resources for her kids. I don't blame her. But the truth is, it was difficult to be in CCE Hall without a suitcase You should have seen the mattress I took on campus. It was terrible. One of my brothers, my mom's sons, was abroad. He's the one who heard that I went to campus without anything. And around the end of first year, he sent me 200 pounds. And a relative who brought it kept the 100 pounds and gave me only 100 pounds. But that 100 pounds, when I converted it, it bought so many things. A suitcase, beautiful clothes, beautiful shoes, so that I began looking like a campus. But I almost did a whole year without. So currently, do I struggle to get shoes and clothes? No, God has provided. I have a husband. But the choices you make when you are at your worst are important. That's what I want to emphasize. Stay on the right track. Your background will not take you back to where you're coming from.
Wow. Interesting. The choices you make.
The choices.
They design your life.
Thank you.
What about when you have very many insecurities or you have very many challenges and you find the only option you have is to take the other way around? What I try to mean here, especially like the university, like in the university, it becomes tricky whereby you find girls, they end up giving in big men or to our so-called boyfriends because of the challenging background.
Let me assure you, if I had given in to the big men, then every generation has the big men, Bridget.
Okay.
We had a parking lot at CCD, it is still there. Right at 3 o'clock, corporate people came and parked and picked girls. Older men, sugar daddies, and the girls had money. They had money, they had the proper clothes. Those first few mobile phones, mobile phones came when I was on campus. Well, now I guess some few privileged ones got them. I got my first mobile phone when I was working in Katikamo SDA. So you have to sort of wait to get your real life. By the time we were finishing third year, most of my colleagues were pregnant and the men dumped them. Those men usually have another life. He doesn't want to ruin his life for your sake. Forget it. This has been played over and over. Even those men, when they are giving you those things, they know, Bridget, they know they are buying your soul. And girls have gone for it. But he denies you to get your genuine age mate who doesn't have baggage, who is willing to marry you decently. I'm married to an age mate. I did the same P7 with him. I did the same senior 4. I did the same senior 6. Our registration number starts with the same number on campus. He was doing engineering, I was doing BSc. And we didn't date even 4 years after campus. I think we dated like 5 years after campus. But he had values, he had principles. He loved me for who I was. He had seen me decent for years.
You are too authentic to yourself.
And that's the man who has kept me for 18 years. He's been there in the labor world for every baby. He has no baggage. My firstborn is his firstborn. My secondborn is his secondborn. So if I had chosen to go with those men who already had kids, but were willing to give me money, I would have sold my soul. It's happening today, and many girls are doing it, Bridget. But they pay a high price. And later, when the decent young man comes to marry you, and he hears your history, he's like, that's not the girl I want. Is that what the young people want to do? So go hungry a bit, miss out on the beautiful clothes, they are waiting for you.
Okay, I was sharing with one of the friends, and then she boldly said, so now Bridget, imagine I wanted something, and I just gave it for a nightstand.
Great.
Will my thing shift from me and go, will I become a man, or I will stay a woman? I just laughed it up.
We talked about that this evening. A one-night stand, her body got joined with a person, her soul got joined with a person, and her spirit got joined with a person. So you think you have gone, but a part of you has remained with a person. You think you went with nothing, his DNA has been deposited in you. And what more would I add? What don't you know? What don't you see? People are admitted in hospital because of such matters. So you might think that I've gone with nothing. you're actually divided. I should have made a demonstration. If you had a chapati and you keep pinching holes in it, eventually who wants to buy the chapati? Nobody. I should have done that demonstration. But it's a reality. They go with a piece of you and you go with a piece of them. You're not the same woman. You're not authentic anymore. And I don't think you deserve the best. No, you don't. You have to pay a price in order to get what's best for you. Okay. Never forget that, Bridget. If you forget everything else I've said on the show, there is a price to everything.
Interesting. And then we have grown up in a world that is very stressful, very challenging. But then you find at the end of it all, people fall off track, especially in education. Someone will not attend class, someone will not do anything. Like, we are driven by our mindset because of our challenges, what we have on our mind. How can someone deal with such insecurities?
Bridget, every choice has a consequence. And I want to say it again. Every choice you make has a consequence. If I choose not to go for a lecture, I did practical subjects. If I choose not to go for a practical, you think the information will get in my head by osmosis? I have decided. If I choose not to go and read before an exam, and I go into an exam with an empty head, and I want to cheat, I have decided. So whatever we decide, the good and the bad, let's enjoy the consequences. I'm sorry I don't have kind words. Then stress, girls. It is very sad for you to be a student, a young girl. You don't do aerobics, you don't do exercise, you don't involve yourself in any community activity. You don't belong to a church, you don't belong to a faith group, you have a singing gift, you don't sing. I have sung from my campus days. I have traveled with that choir even abroad. Occupy yourself. We have not yet seen the full Bridget. There are so many gifts hidden in you. So many gifts. Try them out. Bridget, have you tried fashion? On top of what you're doing? And you're very smart. Put colors together. Have you tried makeup? Have you sung in a choir? So stress goes by you finding opportunities to release it. But remember, for every choice you make, there is a consequence.
Amazing. I think I'll just go with that. That is the food of confidence. It is the thing that I'm going with. Just at the back of my mind.
When you choose not to bathe, you wake up when your bed sheets are dirty, and your bed will be smelling. You have more things to do. Now you have to wash the bed sheets. But if you choose to go to bed when you are bathed and you put on a clean pyjama, you can use your bed sheets even for 5 days, 7 days. And they'll be fresh and clean. Every time, if you choose to overeat, you put on a lot of weight. If you choose to starve yourself, you'll be anorexic. Whatever decision, you choose to have many sexual partners, you will reap. You choose to stay away from them. This world does not lie.
Wow. So as we wind up, maybe just your final words to whoever is watching us out there, because this is mainly to do good for the youth that are out there. Now, we all have destiny, but most of us, we always give up and we know that it's going to end like this. How can I set principles, or which principles can I set to ensure that I change my destiny? Because sometimes, maybe like us from families whereby you find even your parents are seeing you in this lane, you are seeing yourself in another lane, but at the end of it all, you have a destiny.
Wow.
How can I ensure that?
Values. To the young people out there, I want you to know you're very important. I want you to believe it. I want you to understand it. Now, because you're so important, every decision you make should be to promote you and not to destroy you. So base your decisions on the correct values. In this country, we know God. You're either an Anglican, a Protestant, a Catholic, an Adventist, a Muslim. Go back to your faith values. Listen to what they teach you about God. I don't know any faith that tells you to go and steal. I don't know any faith that tells you to go and kill. So begin there. Have a connection with God. Have values, have principles, have character. Character is what you do when no one is watching. So when nobody is watching and you want to be caught, do you steal something? Then your character is poor. Do you lie because you want to be caught? Then your character is poor. So work on your character, read books for self-development, talk, find an adult. Every young person should find an adult who speaks into their life. There are many people all over the place. Approach them and tell them, I would like you to be my mentor. I would like you to guide me. Find time and sit with them and tell them your thoughts. Tell them your plan. If they tell you, that particular plan is going to throw you in a ditch, drop it. Drop it and do things that promote you. Slowly by slowly, your life will begin to evolve. It will begin to take shape. Even when you find somebody who wants to marry you, take them to your mentors. Have a talk. You know, and a person who is not serious, we're not allowed to see your mentor. That alone throws off all the useless people. But the one who will accept to meet your mentor is usually a serious person. And your mentor will be able to tell. Through the conversation, you can tell the person's values. And they will warn you or they will encourage you. And eventually choose the right things. Life goes in steps. Do not rush to get what you haven't reached. You're in school, be a student. You get your first job, let it be your first job. After that, promotions will find you, scholarships will find you. Go for further studies, travel, commit and get married to the love of your life. And I believe one day you will meet me and say it worked.
Wow, that is so good. Thank you so much. Thank you. One thing we have to keep at the back of our minds, the choices that you make come with consequences. Yeah, we've been here at the Power Conference and having the theme as breaking barriers to the girls' future through education. We had it all. It was a very big package. Thank you so much for watching. We shall keep sharing this. More and more of this is coming on my YouTube channel. I love you so much. We'll meet next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.